But like so, or the last demo that I put out on both channels was this. This is teaching you. So I do like to teach you landscapes and flowers. You'll see these flowers are here, but you know what I'm going to do today? I'm going to paint over them. So you're just very welcome. I can't do the comments at the minute section, but maybe that's it. Maybe that's a better thing. This is my late father's boiler suit. He was a mechanic, and I will talk now at the start of the video, but I might not talk the whole way through it live. But he was a mechanic. He died when I was 7, and this is his boiler suit, which I used to paint in, especially when I'm using oil, because oil messes up everything. Acrylic you can get off. Like this is acrylic here. This is acrylic. I'll show you some of my oils. You can, I think YouTube can see over there. This is one of my big abstract oils, so that will go to be stretched. So I stretch it onto basically a frame that you will know and you will love. But I am in a studio with 3 other artists. I'm having my morning coffee, and the routine of my week has changed. So I make content for you guys Monday and Wednesday, and then on Tuesday I was painting for you, and then I make the content. But this is my painting day. So what I want to do with this today is I'm going to lift all the paint up here so you can see it. This is a table that I wonder if you can even see that, mother-in-law and father-in-law gave me, and it is now pretty ruined. But it was an old receptionist table, so there's a little bell on it, which is great. I teach kids and adults art workshops, so it is covered with one of the covers that I use for them. But all my paint is on the floor, which you probably can't see right now. Oh, goodness. I just finished 5 paintings, which have gone to Portugal, and the time frame was really tight for those, so I used a lot of thinner. So today I'm going to use quite a bit thinner. I do prefer to paint in a tidier studio, but I'm collecting my son today, my 3rd boy who's still in school. Well, they're all still in school. One of them is doing GCSEs, which is the next stage. He's 16. So there's many elements of today. I don't have huge expectations, apart from I was at an orchard on Saturday with my mum. So while I'm chatting, I'll bring it up. But the point about Portugal is I was using a lot of different thinners. So I can ask you them probably if you DM me or message me separately. I can tell you which ones I'm using, because I have used a multitude of them for my recent paintings on a tight time scale. And we are going to do paintings around the orchard, which I went to with my mum. So after my dad died, the person whose thing I'm wearing, boiler suit I'm wearing, after he died, my mum always baked, but after he died in 1991, so it was the week before my 70th birthday, she started baking. She always baked, but she baked every Friday. So I took her to a class on, so these are all the workshops things that I make as well, that I use. I took her to a cookery class, and it was all baking. And we also went to the orchards where she grew up. So she grew up on a pig farm. You'll hear me talk about my granny as well, up in Annaghmore. So what I'm doing here is I'm going to enjoy playing. Look at this. The place is, because I had a week off. So I thought you may as well see the whole process rather than just the nice bits. And my husband is not creative, but he takes direction very well. And he painted the walls recently white in here. So I'm in the Lisburn Road in Belfast. And I'm going to use one of the rollers to cover this, because I don't like this painting. This painting was made, it was quite nice. It was like outside last year. I made it, but we're going to cover it. I'm going to put gloves on. So I would always say that for, the only thing is for the environment, not the best. So I'm working on that. Give me any tips if you have them. You'll see in my TikTok shop actually that I have them as one of the shop affiliate things, even though I'm not an affiliate, because I see people are using these ones which are a little bit easier, but very hard on your hands. So we're going to just play, and that's what I encourage you to do. You're probably on my channel. So here I have some really high grade Michael Harding oil paint, and I have some just Winsor Newton, not that like terribly exciting. So I'm going to mix them together, see what we get. So the really high grade is a lovely creamy tone, but because I have so much product on there, I'm going to just, you'll see here that this opens quite a bit. My paint clothes underneath. But I'm going to roll up my bottoms. Behind me there's also another canvas. So, and then this little painting, which is of Donna Cadee. It's really nice, but I don't want it anymore. I think it's even on my website. It's so cute. But I keep looking at it, and I might paint over that. Okay. And we're going with the big roller because it's fun, and this is how you lose the sort of panic whenever you're doing it. So I'm mixing a multitude of thinners, because the problem with thinners is they can dry your paint too quickly, and then you'll have little bubbles. But for this, we're just watering down the paint and then going on. It'll be too watery. I'm just going to put it on here so I have a bit of continuity. It's too wet at the minute, but it's a first mark. That's really important to make a first mark. I wanted these to be overlapped as well, because quite a lot of the paintings that I sell now, we have people cut into the size that they like. So yeah. That's the first one. Now with the paint that's on the brush here, I'm also going to just fill that in so you immediately have two textures. I don't often paint abstract and chat. I didn't think that I would chat, but it's really lonely as an artist. So maybe it feels like I have some friends in with me, you know? So this one is just Winsor Newton, and it is, I think it's a fast drying titanium white, which has crusted over. And because I was at the orchard, if you've just joined, it's really hot in here. I'm going to have to open the window. Because I was at the orchard, we stood in the orchard, and then we used the Bramley apples to make this lovely like potato apple bread. So not potato bread with apple, potato apple bread. And then we also made, so I'm just going to mix that in. But we stood in the orchards first, and we did a little like walk around, and so from an abstract perspective, for me bringing it all together, it was with my mom, who has been with me all my life. And then they're all apple blossom trees at the minute. And did you know, interesting fact, every apple has 5 petals in the little blossom. I'm sure you did know that, which I didn't. So in terms of this painting, I never ever start with green, but I wanted it to be part of it because there was a lot of green. There was a lot of lightness as well, and the green of the apple. Whenever I was younger, my granny, so I'm just playing around at the minute with green, because I've had so many commissions of late, which I'm not complaining about, but a lot of it has been directed by other people's visions. So as an artist, even when I'm making content and making demos for you, I do take a little bit of the lead from you guys, because I want to teach you how to paint loose, how to become an unintentional artist. But this just feels today like I'm just showcasing my skills and enjoying playing. I have a real thing about green paint. I don't like green paint, so you will rarely ever see me use. In fact, if you've been using my demos, I'll have been teaching you with red, yellow, blue, black, and white acrylic. Whereas with this oils, I have a variety of colors. And this is me taking the sharpness off the ugliness of green. So we're just going to add that in. But whenever I was younger, when my dad died, my granny stepped in and was a big part of my life. And also the beauty of covering over paintings is that you get to use a little bit of color from the other painting. That's the beauty of covering paintings. So if you're really worried about covering over a painting, just think about it as you already have a beautiful layer under there of your creativity. But my granddad died about 7 months after my dad in 1991. So my granny was also widowed, and she came to live with us, but she lived in this cool little house with a tin roof and a toilet outside. And we absolutely loved it. Like me and all my cousins, we used to like basically sleep in the same bed when we stayed with her. But she had Bramley apples, and they were this color, and they were beautiful, and they were beautiful, and they tasted so tart. But I loved them. I do still have a really sweet tooth, and so what I'm doing here is just variations of the shades of green. You might not be able to see that, but I want you to get the overall feel. So don't worry, don't panic too much. I'll show you close-ups. But she always would say to me, Alison, she called me Alison, which is my full name. She would say, that is going to give you a sore tummy. But I continued to sit. We would go in her wee kitchen, which was tinier than this room. So you would go down a step in a wee tin roof. And she always had this basin of the Bramley apples underneath, and I would take them and I would sit under the table. The table was like probably the same size as this. Used to feed all of us at it. But I wanted to honor the apple orchards with some of this. Even if today we just plant the base. So do you like that I can't even read these? I'm like, okay, I think I can read some comments. Oil paint, I want to do good. Yes, oil paint. So the reason I teach you with acrylic is because it is easier. That's the only way I can put it, is that acrylic is moved very easily with water, but it doesn't mean that. I'm just going to use a variation of tools today. So I've shown you before my very highbrow tools. And the reason I teach with the acrylic is because, I'm going to use a dry tool now to take some of this paint, which is just the white, going for another variation of it. I'm going to mix it on the palette, my very highbrow palette. I could show you all my highbrow palettes, but I just couldn't use them. I have the camera for my TikTok is leaning on my fanciest easel, but here I am painting on the wall. Acrylic. Water moves acrylic, and it dries fastest. So if you do make what you think is a mistake, you can change it. It layers really easily, and it's just a wee bit more forgiving. But oil paint is smooth, creamy, butter, beautiful, like every single time. So I'm just turning this on its side, just letting there be layers. You're on abstract today, everybody. If you want something that looks like what your eye knows it looks like, go to my demos. There's definitely ones there. This is you getting a little insight into my studio, which feels kind of like scary, but nice. Oil. So yes, just playing today because I'm talking to. I'll also just stop talking, but I'll see if you have any questions. I'm going to now take one of our kit plates. Michael Harding, I've mentioned them already. They are so expensive, but they are just brilliant. And the thing about oil paints, I'll show you one of my boxes, which must be about 12 years old. And it has all of my, not even oil, most of the paints that I would use most of in there. Because oils don't dry. They dry through oxidation. And I realized when I was doing the paintings for Portugal that my porch at home. We have this old porch. Oh, it's all over my watch. We have this porch from the 70s, which has those like red tiles on it. It's like, it's just very 70s. Our house was built in the 70s. So I'm now going to do an off-white, or I'm going to see if there's a little bit of there was a color that I really liked, which was a variation of sienna and gray. But the tiles that are in my house, they are, I'm using like a brown color, and I'm just mixing and playing because I know that I want the green of the apple, I want like the bark, I want the petal, the prettiness of the petal, and I want just the calm of it. So at the minute we're still quite chaotic. I think I'll need to step up there, but it's my laptop is balancing on that. And chaos is fine. You got to crack an egg to make an omelette. But the porch at my house, so this is another thinner. This is liquid and it is a Winsor Newton one. So I was just using all the thinners I could and getting the right one that would dry it quickly. And I realized that my porch was the perfect combination of air and heat and oxidation. So I was able to dry them without too much speed, so they bubbled. But it was just whatever way it worked better than in here. In the summer, my Belfast studio gets hot. In the winter, freezing. So when I teach people here, I have to have the heat on. So this will likely pick up a lot of the green that's there, but it's okay. Today we play. This one I feel already more comfortable with, maybe because it's cleaner. Even though I was telling you that if you paint over something, you can enjoy having two images. I'm already still distracted by what's on there, but it gives you an insight into your future when you're doing all your lives. So it just starts to add a nice dimension. I didn't mean for it to intentionally be like a petal. I'm really just starting to have what's in there. This brush I've used for a lot of them. It's a big DIY brush. There's a little bit of a gray still on it. And sometimes when I feel like I'm not getting to where I want to, and because we're doing this in like 20 minutes, 25 minutes, I just do this. And it means you can't get lost in it. You have to just be like, okay, we're still here. And it's all layers. Sometimes it just gets too much, too tight. And I want to teach you how to paint loose. Even with abstract, you can be too tight. You got to look at composition. I'm going to go for a little bit of blue just because we can. I'm going to make a nice light blue. It was the most gorgeous day on Saturday, so that's what this will be. So yeah, because I've been working so much on commissions, I am really low on brushes. I like to have a lot of brushes. I ruin brushes, but I like there to be lots and lots of brushes. So these are not thick enough for me. So that's another thing about this whole thing. Instead, I'm just using it to plant on. But these are still so wet, it's hard to, it's actually nice. Can't really go to the middle of the paintings because they're so wet. And then you can even go like this. And it just adds another dimension. Feels like more than ever, I am just leading people away from perfectionism. And as I like to say to my kids, in school, you have to be able to paint the apple. Let's talk about apples. The apple exactly as the apple. You have to be able to paint the shoe exactly like the shoe. But that's just to get you so far. That's just so you get your skills started. So I feel like I'm able to stand by my abstract because I can paint the apple. So that's why I teach you the skills to paint the landscape so it is a landscape in the same way the flowers are flowers. But by doing that, you actually bring your skills to the forefront, then your creativity and your imagination. That's where the loose art comes from. That's where the loose painting, because you have to have the skills to start with, but you're not here to take a photograph. I'm not here to teach you how to paint like you're in a photograph. So that's the thing about abstract painting is, of course, I get feedback all the time about my child could paint better, but that's just part of art. Tracy Emma in your unmade bed. We lose so much of play. We lose the element of play as we get older. We get so serious and it's so boring. So art is your freedom. This is your pass. I got you a pass. So when you're on my channel, when you're with me, you've got a pass to play. And the more you play, the more fun your art will be, the more expression you will have, the more character and the more of you that will show up to the canvas. And how lovely. Why would you want to paint? Like, I was speaking to another artist about how, so this is straight out of the tube, which is not like me. I like to mix. Sorry, it's great. You may want to go. Oh, good. Yes, please do break out your oils. And I can't even see. I'm so sorry, TikTok. I can't see. But I'll get there with that. We're getting there. This is a Michael Harding one straight out of the tube. And it is called... it's called whatever. I've covered it in. So this is just adding a little bit of neutral to this neon again. And it can feel like you're doing nothing, but you're not. You're not. You believe in it. You see it. Pull the paint so you can't really necessarily see, but we're now starting to get a little bit more depth, a little bit more layer. Let one color interrupt the other. Yeah, but they're speaking to this artist about how we all want the congratulations. Well done. Oh my goodness, you painted that just like the real thing. But I was doing a documentary piece with a filmmaker recently, and I thought it was quite cool. He was like, why would you want to be the one that everyone is like mediocre? It's like mediocre. There's something quite cool about getting a conversation going with your art. And that's what I like to say about my abstract is you'll get a conversation. So here, with this higher grade, it's thicker. I've got it on a dry brush, and it's going over the thinner layers a little easier, much easier actually. And it's just toning down that green. And I'm just going to take out as much of this underpainting as I can. This is an odd one because this was a big piece of canvas that I had, which was a cutoff for a painting that went to Australia. And it was absolutely huge. But this was one of the cutoffs from the very end of it. Like these tiny brushes. Again. Do you know what's so funny? Don't tell Instagram, but I feel most comfortable on TikTok and YouTube showing you this. I actually haven't shown anybody me live painting ever before, so I guess this is a celebratory moment. You're very welcome. Thank you for being here. This is questions. So many comments about doing abstract used to bother me. Now I know it's just that they don't understand. Yeah, and that's totally fine. Like, think of my aforementioned poor mommy, who grew up in a pig farm. His dad was a pig farmer. She went into the police, my mum, in the Troubles in Northern Ireland. And she just, like, her husband died when she was 41. Like, things have to make sense. So I brought her into the art world. She let me. That's what I always say. Like, even though she is, doesn't fully understand it, she never stopped me in my journey into the art world. And now, whenever she came to my degree show and then in my master's, so my degree show was, and I just spoke about this on, I don't think it's on my shorts yet on YouTube, but it's on my TikTok. Because my dad died in 1991. Not because he died. I don't know why he died. I do know why he died. He had a heart condition, which I have the same heart condition. So here we have just a little off grey again. I'm just still neutralizing. This is where I feel a little bit like sweaty because I brought you on this journey and you're just seeing the process, but that's okay. We can finish it up soon. He had a favourite bread, and we had a loaf in our house which we called Daddy's bread, and we still call Daddy's bread, my brother and I. So the thing about green is green covers everything. So I'm going to use the floor to just clean the brush a little. But he died in 91, the week before my 8th birthday, which really became like part of me and part of my identity, whether I wanted it or not. We all go through things. This is not a victim story. But I, for my degree show, had 796 bread bags. So that was for a week, every week since he had died up until my degree show. And you came in, so I was a painter, but I did a lot of performance art. Surprise, I'm in front of the camera. But you came in and there was this mound of bread bags that I had been searching through. So very much like the search of grief, a little bit of play on sustenance and, you know, our Heavenly Father and bread. So there was a lot of like, it was quite heavy, but you came in and there's this mound of empty bread bags. And my mum came to my degree show, which I got first for. I kept marks mean so little, but anyway, in terms of like, I ticked all the boxes, obviously. And she was like, Alison, where are your paintings? So we all come on a journey, whereas now she's like if you're on Facebook as well, she literally is my #1 fan. So everybody learns, and we only learn through exposure. So you can see I automatically feel so much more comfortable with this bigger brush, which has the grey tones on it, and I'm just pulling it over. It's not enough. It's not enough. I feel like I'm painting fast. A little bit of thinner. So different thinners will give you different results. Some of them are good if you're just wanting to thin the paint, just to thin the paint. Others are better for speedier drying. But yeah, I could talk you through a world of them. So here, I want there to be more contrast. Here. Quite intense, aren't they? I think because of time and because I'm not sure how long my 4G will go. I am so hot. I'm going to open the window behind all you guys, which might affect the noise, but I sort of forgot about this guy down the bottom. Why don't we play with him for a little bit? So look, this is a painting that has already been. And you know what has happened to me so many times? I paint over paintings and they sell within a week. And then I have to be like, so sorry, I don't have that painting. Like you would think I would learn, but I guess it's part of living on the edge, the creative process. I like painting on the floor as well. So I'm going to do this little painting here from above. I'm going to put the paint right on there. I use my hands. I feel already a little more comfortable with that than I was with the big paintings behind, but you don't always get it right. And I hope that's what I teach you. That it's not every painting has to see the light of day. Painting is as much for you as it is to be on a wall. But already I'm like, that's beautiful. So you'll see the texture from the previous painting is on there, which is good. A few hairs from the brush because I've been so aggressive with it. So I'm going to stand back now and just see where I want to go. Okay. So much green. So much green. I'm going to have to take this off. No. Do you know why? I have a big van. I have a Defender from 2006, and I can get into it and it doesn't matter if I'm covered in oil, but we have this other wee Mini, like a wee red Mini, because I have 3 kids and we had no car for a good few months there. We used to be a 1-car family, and I got the van for work. Wait till you see this color, by the way, it's going to be beautiful. But the other reason I hate green is because it ruins all your brushes and everything. But I haven't cleaned any brushes while I've been talking. Okay, so this is thinner. It's a really nice one, Gamsol. It's an odorless one. So that's what you want. Gone are the days of white spirits, although every now and then I like a little white spirits in my life. And I've forgotten my train of thought. Oh, yeah, but I'm in the Mini today, so I can't get into the Mini I can't put paint on it. We got it, now it's 10-year-old, but we got it, and the first week we got it, I jumped in and put oil all over the mats and all over the pedals. It wasn't the worst, but. So there's little, I would need my phone to see exactly what I want. That's why this is like the base. This is not a finished product behind me. This is for your encouragement to play, to enjoy, to get your thoughts down on your canvas. You might not have canvas to use. I would say until recently, I didn't. And I've been 16 years in the business. I used to be so jealous of everybody. That's another reason why I paint over paintings, is because for so long I didn't have the money or the means to have excess canvas. In fact, the only reason I have it at the minute is because of commissions. But you can use wallpaper. You'll see me, I talked about that wallpaper, strips of lining for wallpaper. You can use big sheets of card. There's a place called the Play Resource Centre in Belfast here. I'm sure there's one where you live, which has all the recycling stuff that you can go and just take big sheets of card, because these are not necessarily going to be out in the world right now. So I want to play with them. Same with you. I want you to encourage you to play. But each of the petals, this feels so green. Each of the petals has, each of the apples, the flowers, they have the little petals. So I'm going to put some pink on, so pretty, but then we still need to get, this is still too green for me. So, and these small brushes. Oh, yeah. Okay. So it's nice and thick. At the minute. Just planting the color on. For some reason, I'm gravitating the pink towards the blue everywhere. I think I just want rid of the green. Green's just not what you're going to see. So, but then I quite like showing you this side of it because it's like, it doesn't matter. Today it doesn't matter. A lot of my life it does matter, and I'm very time bound. And but today's a good day to enjoy. So we're going to fill in a little bit of this to move this paint. One of these. It's a good job I can't see. And the thing about oil is it won't be today. It's very rare that I would make something in oil and it's the last time you see it. I like there to be a little bit more time spent in oil, a little bit more layers. Yeah, it's all just, I'm going to do a little bit of a pour over here just to send you. Oh no, I'm going to do it here with this. So this is the remnants of the other stuff on it. Put it into a cup. I'm just going to throw under pressure throwing. You see that? So I'm just going to throw some at it. And if you weren't here, it would actually be like this. Like quite definite. So this is thinner on it. And I'm going to use my hands. Oh, there's a nail under there. And it's just come through. And it's really sore on me. Okay. So letting the drips happen. Oh, that was really sore. Ripped my little glove too. Oh, sore. Someone across the camera. Good. Now we just need, ow, 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 ow. I want one dark color before I finish up for the day. Just trying to imagine the bark. The bark was one of them. Really did wreck my finger. Price of being I could mix a little brown. We've got a little gold. It's not dark enough. We want some dark. Okay. So I'm just mixing this gray browny color just because it's all I have at the minute. I might actually, this is why I wanted to do this today, because I wanted to see what I need to get. Now that I'm back in the studio. So here's some dark. So you can make that as small as you want. It just adds a wee bit of, I'm only doing it small because it's all I have. So you can have it so it's here, but you want to add a wee bit. You want to balance it out. Perspective. Sorry, with abstract, you want there to be a little bit of balance. But this is day one of our pieces. Oh, I won't even be here to do day two for you, but sure, it doesn't matter. This is me just picking up lumps of paint and putting them on. This is where the depth, we find it, I think. And then, oh man, it's also so warm in here that these are like sweating in my hands. And then my last two gloves, so I also need gloves. So this is a bold pencil that I have here. And this is what we made today. And I feel like because I've been talking, which I do want you to hear, I'm sure someone's like, stop talking. Do you remember that on one of my lives? Some cheeky mare was like, get on with it. You know, when you're like, look, Sandra, my channel. It's free. So too green for me, but also sometimes you just got to live with it. It's a good start. So we had thick paint, we had a big roller, we had a little roller, we had variation of brushes that I have to go and clean now before I do the school pickup. We painted over a painting that was already made. I showed you my studio, my sacred little space, in its full messy form, one side of it anyway. And what I'm going to do now is just write some script. I'm just going to scribble onto it some thoughts that I have around the apple orchard, which is what it's inspired by. So do I need to share those with you? Probably not, but because this one's my favorite for now, even though you can't, it's sort of shiny in there. And what the bold pencil does is it adds a layer of interest. It scrapes into the paint, and it's a message that you can then bring yourself to as the audience. So I think I'm going to write about sunny days in the orchard, fruitful trees and busy bees. Oh, it rhymed. That's not always intentional. I saw you in the apple orchard, and I wanted to say, and then I'm just gonna play. So you can have a little apple here if you want, a wee apple in it. You can have a little orchard. You can just play. Ooh, and that has come to life since adding the pencil. And it's now, it feels like this guy's just a bit of a write-off here because it's now a blunt pencil, but we're going to go for it. Tall trees you do not find in an apple orchard. But love and connection blossoms and friendship is alive and welcoming. And there we go. And then I'm going to just fill in here. I'm going to put a little apple here. There we go. I'll bring you forward so you can see. Here we are. I think so. I think you can see. So this will dull down because it's just shiny with how wet it is at the minute. But that shows you the sunny days. And we have all the layers. And over here, this one actually is a little brighter, which is nice. This reminds me of like, you're a pink toothbrush, I'm a blue toothbrush, or whatever that is song. There you go. So thanks for joining me. You can check out there's my vision board. You might be able to see that over here. Yep, I can teach you how to abstract paint, but semi-abstract, I've been teaching for 20 years. I love that my channels are now growing, especially my YouTube. We're just shy of 10,000 subscribers. Every Tuesday is when I plan to drop a demo, and every Wednesday on TikTok, or Tuesday or Wednesday, full demos, semi-abstract painting. Like this is an example of semi-abstract where you get, this is Strangford Loch, where you get this, you know what it is, and I've just put oil on it. You know what it is, but the colors are a bit skewy, do you know? That's your introduction. That's where you bring your character. In life, in school, we're taught, in magazines, social media, we're taught that this is what perfect is. Well, welcome to my page where imperfection is welcomed, because that's when you polish away all of the filters, that's where all the magic happens. And especially for art, fun, freedom. Thank you for being here. Enjoy the demos. turn this one off here. That's so cute. My son was watching on his study leave.